Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Top Flight Pod. You know what it is. You know what we're here to do. Back on screen today, beautiful Austin, Texas. I'm with the boys. We got my G Neff in here today. We also got my G Primo. Excited. The week before the home opener, man, we got a lot to talk about. A lot going on in the Austin FC side of things, and also some European fixtures that we gotta touch up on. But I'm gonna start off with the man wearing the Real Madrid crest on his chest. Neff, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Lots to talk about, like you said, some European topics, but trying to get this Austin FC season underway.
Nev, what'd you think about the Super Bowl halftime show? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Mm, I mean, I couldn't tell you. I didn't watch it.
Okay, YG Primo rocking the Verde keeper kit. Really nice keeper kit, bro. How are you doing tonight?
Doing all right, bro. Doing all right, brother.
What'd you think
Excited for the
about it?
pod.
Super Bowl halftime show. What'd you think?
Man, I was like dancing, bro. I had my shirt. I was sweating and everything, bro. I was dancing.
Hey, peace up, A-Town. Whenever that came on, dude, I went crazy, bro. But hey, shout out to everybody that's on the Patreon. Shout out to everybody that's on the Discord. Once again, thank you for all your support. This season, it's gonna be madness. Hopefully, we have enough good results to bring out some positive and good content. And even when things get bad, Austin FC fans do become very critical, and we'll see what happens, how we can control that side of things if we can. But once again, shout out to everybody that's on the Patreon. Appreciate your support. But Neff, Primo, without losing any more time, brothers, let's get into the show because we got a lot to cover tonight. Shout out to Bali, shout out to B as well, and all the boys out there to help out. We're Austin TV Football Critic having a hell of a Sunday. But okay, we're gonna start off tonight on the New York Red Bulls match. Neff is over there laughing. 3-3 result, the final match of the Coachella Valley Invitational for Austin FC, where they ended up with one loss, one win, and one draw. That loss came to Chicago Fire. It was a 1-0 defeat. The win came against the LA Galaxy and Diego Fagundes. So it was a 3-1 result. And then we turned around and tied to the New York Red Bulls 3-3, which we're going to talk about here right now. It'll be a quick brush up, but let's talk about what we saw. Now, the goals came from Jimmy Farcarloon, Diego Rubio, and Javier Obrion. Those were the Austin FC goals. But before we get into the Verde and Black goals, I really want to talk about the defensive display, I guess is a great way to put it, that we saw against the New York Red Bulls, or Red Bulls New York, however you want to call it. Because the first goal, Neff, it came very early. I'll start off with you, bro, because I believe you're going to have a strong opinion on this one. But in the minute 12, Wiki Carmona looks like he just runs through the entire defense, and Valencia looks like he got caught flat-footed there. And not only is it on the defense, Brad Stuber looks like a statue, and it was a nice finish to his opposite post, bangs in the post, and then goes in. Neff, what was your thoughts, brother, when you saw this highlight being posted by it wasn't posted by Austin FC, it was posted by the New York Red Bulls. What did you think when you saw it?
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's just you and I, we've had a lot of back and forth behind the scenes, and it's just this defense, right? This defense and how it's improved or will improve at all. I don't. This game was just another testament to it. However, just like we've mentioned, the lineup was not the starting lineup.
Correct.
It was that, but I don't think it shies away from the mistakes that the starting 11 makes, if that makes
Now,
sense.
you mentioned the starting lineup, especially that back four, and you're right. We have Hector Jimenez, Antonio Gomez, who was the trialist, still is on trial with Austin FC, I believe, Salvatore Mazzaferro, and Sheik Toure, right? Those guys, you hear those names, and you know who they are, especially Sal, especially Toure, especially Hector. But at the end of the day, you know that this won't be the starting lineup for Austin FC, at least the back four moving forward. Now, when we move forward, we talked about that first goal, a little bit of a defensive mistake by Valencia and some of the young guys out there. But then it was 2-0 by minute 35. Austin FC did tweet out that New York Red Bulls had scored. Primo, it was 2-0 at one point, but then slowly we started to come back. And Diego Rubio gets his goal. Then you had Jimmy Farcarlin get his goal. And then you had Jader Obrian with his absolute rocket. At the end of the day, New York Red Bulls tied 3-3, right? But Primo, what was your thoughts on this match, the New York Red Bulls? Now, I know you can't really analyze much of it because there was limited footage out there, but from the result, 3-3, mate, what was your thoughts?
I mean, just another preseason game, you know. Uh, it's part of the tour that we're having over there at the Coachella Valley. So, you know, my takeaway is that we're able to bounce back from the 2-0. Second goal was, you know, as easy as the first one. I think, you know, defensive mistakes, but guys are looking sharp. Diego Rubio, you know, I think these three guys definitely stood out not only this game but the whole preseason. Diego Rubio, Hader, and Jimmy. So seeing them score and get on the scoreboard that game was good to see even after you know that Galaxy game. So
100%. Now, in that Galaxy game, Primo, you do mention it. It was the same three guys that got the goal, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy scored in both games. Diego Rubio scored in both games. And Jader Brian scored in both of those preseason games. So you absolutely love to see it. The new guys coming in and producing is what we said on Twitter when that game was going on. But some other things happened in the New York Red Bulls match. We saw the first touches in the verde and black for Guilherme Biro. You know, he makes his preseason debut out there in Coachella. And then moving forward, we also had Mr. Anthony Precourt tweet out the green smoke right after this game concluded. And there was Tom Bogert news mid-game talking about Austin FC was after Mr. Brendan Hines-Ike, which now we know that he ended up signing for the team. But Neff, what was your thoughts on Brendan Hines-Ike? We can talk about him right now because he was, you know, that rumor was announced, or maybe the news was announced when it was really mid-game, Austin and New York Red Bulls. What was your thoughts on Mr. Brendan Hines-Ike joining Austin FC?
Well, I do think he's just, you know, another piece to the puzzle. I don't know that he's the piece that solves anything. It's just you know, it's just filling another spot, right? I don't know how many center backs of, I guess, MLS caliber we're gonna bring in without necessarily being extremely successful in the league. They're gonna bring in. So I do think that if it's like um, Rodo and Wolf said, that there's no money and you're misusing that money and just bringing in more players that are more the same that you already have, I don't know necessarily how it's going to help the club.
Okay, all right. Now, this is the tweet from Tom Bogert. He says, sources, Austin FC finalizing deal to sign center back Brendan Hines-Ike, who is out of contract informally with DC United. Hines-Ike, 29 years old, made 46 appearances with DC. Source adds his deal is significantly less than what he was on last year, which was $467,000 per MLSPA. Primo, your opinion on Brendan Hines-Ike? We see that he's going to be making significantly less than $467K, bro. I mean, that's a steal when you have a guy like Hedges making 900,000, Julio Cascante just under 700,000, Leo Bison, I believe, is in the same range. Rado, when he was here, he was making around 600,000 as well. But we get probably one of the youngest center backs that we have, other than Leo. You know, this guy Hines-Ike, he's 29 years old, MLS vet, and he's going to be making significantly less than 467K Primo. Again, what was your thoughts on this signing? Because you know, Bogert came out with the news, but then it was made official later on after the match concluded.
yeah, we saw everything on Twitter. A little bit of a curveball. I don't think a lot of people didn't see the signing coming. But I mean, I'm definitely happy with it. You know, it adds another center back to the group that we got, and as we all know before, that's always been, you know, a big issue for us. So it's good to see that we're gathering a group of center backs, and you know, we're gonna be ready for if those injuries come. You know, hopefully they don't, but if they do come, we'll have some backup. You know, 29-year-old, not too young, but you know, he's also not over 30. Some European experience. Coming, what was he? Free agent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another important thing that we're getting him for free. And then on top of that, you know, the contract that you mentioned is good for us also.
Now, so we can put the nail in the coffin on the New York Red Bulls and Austin FC match. You know, it did end up 3-3. You know, we're talking about Brendan Hines-Ike because they both were happening around the same time. But before we get into some quotes of the media availability where Brendan Hines-Ike was part of, you know, just want to mention Finley did get the assist for Jimmy's goal. I really like the attitude that Jimmy showed in that match because he knew that we were down. He scored and got the ball out of the back of the net, something that Drusy does. It's a quite good characteristics to see in a young player, especially when you see it in a guy like Bruce. He gets the ball out of the back of the net, and then the comeback begins, right? Even though it ended up 3-3. But really impressed with Jimmy in that match. Diego Rubio also impressing folks. And then Jader Briano scored a bombazo. Maybe a bit of a deflection, but he doesn't care. But alrighty, gentlemen. Now, I want to move forward to this quote that we got from Brendan Hines-Ike from the media availability. And a lot of Austin FC fans reacted well to this quote. Neff, I'm going to get your take on it first. This is Brendan Hines-Ike. He says this, quote, "I'm here to help the culture, help the club move forward. Obviously, I'd love to play as much as possible. That's the role of every professional player, especially at my age. I'm also here to learn, get to know the guys, and push the culture as much as I can." He continues, "The culture is very detailed, very methodical how they go about things here. Much more methodical than anything I've ever been a part of. There's an expectation from a fan base that I didn't realize how big it was until last night at the jersey unveiling. It was quite impressive. It's a winning culture." Neff, this guy sounds like he's saying all the right things, but it doesn't sound like a ChatGPT generated response that's rehearsed. I really like what he said. A lot of Austin FC fans like what he said as well. But what do you think on his words, some of his words? Because, of course, the media availability is like 30 minutes long and he talks for 10 minutes. But this quote really popped out.
Well, I think he said the right things, like you said. It's hard for me to take those words are more than what they are at face value, because at the end of the day, what matters most and what matters to this club is that it gets the results on the field. And I mean, hopefully he seems eager to try to win that starting spot, which I mean, I hope it does increase the quality, because the team needs it. So with that being said, he seems to come with the right attitude, and hopefully that's the case.
Yes, man. Hopefully that's the case. We'll see what happens with him. Now, Primo, do you want to add anything on that quote, bro? I mean, what do you think of some of the words that Brandon Hines-Ike had to say on the culture, the fan base, saying that it's very, it's not, not only big, but there's expectations. And somebody actually said, "Hey, who told Brandon Hines-Ike about Bali?" Because they were saying that the fans have expectations that he didn't know about. So, I mean, what do you think of this guy, Primo? Kind of dropping some nice words for the culture at Austin FC.
Yeah, I think he's definitely coming in with some confidence. Something that I'm taking from what he said is it kind of seems like Austin FC's doing a decent job on laying out what it's going to be like here and what's expected. And that's good, coming in, knowing what's going to happen, and how to get to work, what to do. And so I think Austin FC is doing, I think, a good job on that part. I like that he appreciates the culture, the fan culture. Fan culture here is a really big thing. So I love to see every new player come in and recognize that.
100%, bro. Now we also got to hear from Guilherme Biro. We also got to hear from Coach Josh Wolff in the media availability. Now, I want to talk about Guilherme Biro just real quick, spend a minute on him. We don't got to take too long because, a lot of folks didn't really get to comprehend or understand or really hear what Guilherme Biro was saying because he was speaking in Portuguese. There was a translator, but, Football Critic mentioned how there was some things that weren't really picked up or whatnot. So just some stuff here. We released a reel on We Austin TV. Now, I'm going to read this. Shout out to the North End Pod. They had a graphic up. I'm going to read it from them. It says, Guilherme Biro saying, "First impression is that we're a very organized team. There's a lot that I need to work on to be able to do my part. I've been waiting for this opportunity to come out here. So when they put me in, I'll be ready." Kind of, because somebody asked him, one of the reporters, one of the media members asked him if he'd be ready to play on game day one. Guilherme Biro also says, "When I was in Brazil, I was the type of player to create plays from building up from the back. I have a lot of passion and a lot of hard work in me. You will never see me like that." One thing that wasn't picked up, Guilherme Biro saying that he's more of a constructive player from the back. He mentioned that. And some other stuff he talked about, I think he was asked if he missed home. I'm not sure if he says that he doesn't miss home. But we didn't get that full translation, so I won't mention anything there. But moving on to what Josh Wolff had to say. He says, Julio has a little leg injury. He's working his way back. Good to see Leo's gotten back into the mix. CJ got some minutes. Jean seems to be back up to speed. All in all, most guys are in a pretty good space. He continues to say, depth is always a concern in our league. You have to stay healthy. You have to be You have to have good numbers. You want good competition in all positions. We have what we have. We'll get working and want to finish off preseason in a good way against New York City FC. And then one thing he says also, he said, Zan will get significant minutes against New York City FC. Biro has just arrived, which we all know. We got to work with him through a lot. Physically, he's got to get up to speed. He hasn't played games in a couple months. He'll also hopefully be available for minutes against Minnesota. So Austin fans, keep your eye out for Biro. Maybe getting some minutes against Minnesota next week. Now, if you're asking yourself about Diego Rubio, Josh Wolff said this. He says, I think Diego is not fit. He's a good goal scorer. He's a different type of striker. Competition is good. He scored goals. Jazzy is going to need to score goals. We needed depth, and we were able to get that. Diego's competitive. You see that right away. He has grit about him, a combativeness, but real quality in front of goal. Now, Neff, which quote that I just read reads kind of jumps out to you more, either something from Wolff or from Guilherme Biro, bro?
Personally, I'm gonna take Biro's quote more at face value. I think I've heard a lot from Wolff. Not sure how much I can believe after 3 to 4 years now.
Fair. Go ahead. I mean, Ed, is there anything you'd like to comment on one of Biro's quotes?
No. Only that. I mean, he does seem very compromised, especially and very honest when it comes to how he wants to integrate it into. As far as him not necessarily being 100% ready, which I think it's something fans need to hear. And if the fans need to have it come from the players, being like, you know what, the system takes a lot to adapting to, and he's not going to be ready day one, maybe not day two. So I think it's a good quote from him, and he's actually one of the only players that I'm really actually looking forward to seeing their career jump starting in Austin.
Yeah, I think you and a lot of Austin FC fans as well, Nam, are very excited to see what Biro can bring to Austin FC. Of course, myself personally, I'm waiting for him to bring that Brazilian flair, that fight, that technicality that league brings, right? And what was I gonna get to about Biro? Sorry, just thought about Biro so much there, mate. Now, I did want to move forward to some other news that we got later on previously this week. We got the news that Will Bruin, he announced his retirement. Former Austin FC player Will Bruin has retired from professional soccer. Primo, I want to get your take on this, mate. Will Bruin announces that he's hanging his boots up. A great career, MLS champion, CONCACAF Champions League champion with the Seattle Sounders, bro. What was your thoughts whenever Bruin announced his retirement, mate? A lot of fans came out in support of him also.
Yeah, well, just congratulations to him. Being able to retire after such a long career. We'll be honest, he didn't really do much last season for us, but I think that was kind of, his moment to decide whether he was going to continue playing or whether he was going to retire. I think he's won enough. I think he's done enough to, and coming to Austin, like I said, whether we won something or not, I think that was going to determine if he was going to stay another season. But lengthy season. I think he spent all of it in MLS. I think so. Pretty cool. But yeah, congratulations.
The dancing bear, bro. I saw somebody on Discord say that, even though we got to see Will Bruin towards the end of his career, and a lot of fans did give him flack, they criticized him, especially Austin FC for bringing him in the first place, right? Bringing in an old striker. But what I saw somebody say is like they would have killed to have Will Bruin in his 20s playing for Austin FC. And then I kind of sat there and I thought about it, bro. And I was like, dude, I bet this guy was absolute just a truck, dude, just running over guys whenever he was in his 20s, man. I didn't really get to see him play whenever Bruin was in his youth, but I mean, I would imagine that he was a pretty good striker up top. I'm gonna look at some of his highlights when he was young, but you don't get the trophies and play for the teams, even in MLS, that Will Bruin played for without being good, So I think some people need to put some respect on Will Bruin's name. Now, Neff, shout out to the Will Bruin news. That absolutely saved my little brain fart earlier. The other thing that I was gonna say on Guilherme Biro, the one thing that jumped out to me, bro, about that media availability was he said that he's having a lot of trouble translating what he wants to get to eat. He said that he goes places and he's trying to get food, but he uses translating app, and that's how he gets, his food at, I don't know what restaurants or fast food joints he's hitting up. But I mean, we need to get Biro acclimated, bro. Somebody got to translate, or somebody got to teach my boy English, because he's probably trying to go to Popeyes. He's probably trying to go to Pluckers. I don't know, maybe Wingstop. Who knows, right? But Biro's having trouble. What was that now?
Yeah, we gotta take him to maybe get Football Critic up there and try to get him to Roadhouse or something, and some Chick-fil-A or something like that.
Or you know what? We should even take him to like BJ's Brew House. I'm sure he would love it. I'm sure he would. But Nev, I do want to ask you, what you think about Will Bruin announcing his retirement from professional soccer?
No, I mean, like Primo said, congratulations to him being able to retire, and I think he chose a good time to hang up the boots. He had some good moments in Austin FC jersey. Some clutch goals that he scored last season. So I think as a striker, I mean, he'll know more than anybody. Who the body tells you when it's time, and he just didn't. He just didn't look like he was up to it anymore towards the end. Maybe mentally he was, but I mean, physically it takes a toll on you. And at the end of the day, the guy has a career that he can be proud of.
Yeah, Primo, you're right. It was all MLS. Now, according to Transfer Market, his all-time stats, y'all, total 377 matches played. He had 93 goals, 38 assists. The guy got 19 yellow cards. I believe he never got a red card. Wow, Philippe Lam status. And he accumulated over 22,000 minutes. So fantastic career, Will Bruin. Hopefully you enjoy your retirement, which is rightfully owned. And we wish you luck here in the Top Flight Pod on your next step in your professional career. Maybe he goes into punditry. Maybe he goes into coaching. But hopefully we see Will Bruin and that side of soccer, maybe in the media or in the coaching part. But all right, gentlemen, we're going to move forward, and we're going to talk about the New York City FC match, because that's the most recent game that just happened. 3-2, Austin FC defeats New York City FC in regular 90 minutes. There was an extra 30 minutes played. Now, there was a lot of rotation in those 30, but at the end of the day, at the end of everything that was played, when the teams left, it was 4-4. 4 goals for New York, 4 goals for Austin FC. Now, they were scored by goals. The goal scorers were Zardes off of a corner kick, minute 73. Drusi, minute 82. Diego Rubio, minute 87, off of a Danny assist. And Valentin Noel, he scored Austin FC's 4th goal in minute 13 of that extra 30 minutes of playing time. Now, the starting lineup for this match, you can either say it was a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Now, in goal, we had Brad Stuver. Now, this is an important lineup. I'll tell you why. Goalkeeper Brad Stuver. At right back, Neff, we had John Gallagher. Right center back, we had Hedges. Left center back was Leo Väisänen. Left back, we had Jean Komanich. In the midfield, this is very important midfield, we had Alex Ring, who was the 6, Danny Pereira, who was at the 8, and of course, Jussi Dior was at his spot at the 10. In the attack, we had Ethan Finley on the right wing, Jazzy Zardes at the 9, and Emiliano Rigoni on the left side. Now, Neff, I said it was important a couple seconds ago. Why is it important? Well, because I believe this is the team that's going to face Minnesota come opening night. Do you agree with me? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's the closest that it's gonna get to maybe Biro once he's ready. Other than that, I mean, as close as it gets. Yeah.
Now, there was some movement, right? There was some subs. You mentioned Biro. He made his Q2 debut, right, at the 74th, subbing in for Komanich. And at the 79, Rubio and Obrian came on and really won the match for Austin FC in 90 minutes, because they came on and brought an absolute shift. Now, before we get Primo's thoughts on the match, some match details, of course. New York went up. They were 1-0 up at the halftime after Stuver was caught off his line. A goal from the midfield is what Alex was telling us. Now, when the second half started, New York went up quickly, if I'm not mistaken, just seconds or minutes into the second half. It was 2-0. And apparently New York City FC also missed a penalty. Now, Austin scored all of their goals in the second half, as I mentioned earlier, after the 75-minute or so. Now, Primo, you heard about the goal scorers. It was Zardes. It was Drusi. It was Valentin Noel. It was Rubio. I mean, what was your thoughts on this match, bro? I mean, another one that had no stream. but there was a lot of updates because there was people at the Verde store, myself included. I was there with Aries. So there was a little bit more details than some of the Coachella matches, not the LA one. But what was your thoughts on this 3-2 or 4-4 result that Austin FC had against New York?
Definitely, I think it was a good way to close off our preseason. We're at home. Everyone's still performing like they were at the beginning. So, very, very good way to finish off. And, I think we're looking good against Minnesota coming that day. So, overall, I'm happy with the result. I know it ended up as a tie, but, I like seeing those goals score. Zardes getting it on the leaderboard. Sure. Diego again. Drusi Dior. Hey, that goal was actually pretty nice. I like that Gallagher assist.
Yes, shout out to Johnny G. Now let's talk about some goal details. Because Austin FC, of course, was posting at least the goals. Zardes scored off of a corner kick delivered from either Rigoni or Kolmanic. Now, I'm going to say it was from Rigoni because, if I'm not mistaken, Jean right now, he's playing with some, like, fuchsia, hot pink looking boots. And I think Rigoni is wearing, like, some regular either black boots or some white boots. And off of the corner kick, you can kind of tell it with some darker shade of soccer cleats. So I think it was Emiliano Rigoni. Now, Drusi scored from a play developed on the right wing by O'Brien and assisted by Gallagher, just like Primo mentioned. And then Rubio, he scored his goal from a play also created on the right wing that was assisted by Danny Pereira off of a cheeky back heel flip. Absolutely beautiful. Those Venezuelans are crazy, bro. Danny Pereira, bro, chill out. Now, with this match, with this match concluding, with it ending, we know who the top scorers of preseason are now. Now, the assists, Neff, are a lot harder to keep track of because some of them you couldn't really tell who they were from. But the scorers we know exactly to 100%. Now, the top scorers were Diego Rubio with 3. Jader O'Brien, he had 3 goals as well. Valentino, 3 goals also, keeping up. He's not a youngin. Drusi with 2. Zardes had 2 as well. Jimmy Farcarlin, El Bryant, he had 2 goals. And then Danny Pereira, last but not least, my G Danny, he had a goal as well. Now, Neff, your thoughts on this match, or if any opinion you have on the top scores, please give me your thoughts on this 3-2, 4-4.
I think given that Rubio didn't participate in all of the preseason, the fact that he was able to gather 3 goals, I think it's pretty impressive. I think I don't know if he's matched like a full 90-minute player. I don't think he is. But the fact that he was able to act, it seems like he has acclimated fairly well. So that being said, you probably have a good Super 7 there. Of course, it's always nice to see Danny with the goal at the very first game. But I think the one that surprised me the most, other than Jimmy, has been Noel. I think nobody really saw him scoring as much as he did, or even probably getting the preseason that he did. With that being said, I do hope he gets that first team contract or action, whichever it is. The forwards line seems to be doing its job. I think it's really the back line, like it always has been, that has to be heavily worked on.
Okay. Now, Neff, you do mention Noel. We can talk about him just super quick. We got a minute or so to spare on this topic. The final 30 minutes, I mentioned it ended 4-4. Valentin Noel was the goal scorer for Austin FC. Now, New York, they scored 4 minutes into that extra period. Austin FC clapped back with the cheeky chip by Noel, as mentioned. And then New York ended up with the last laugh as they scored their 4th late into the extra period of play in the 29th minute or so. But you mentioned Valentin Noel, a kid that really has not given up on his hope to play for Austin FC's first team. We know what he's done with FCito, champion, MVP of the final, one of the top scorers, or the top scorer for FCito last season, if I'm not mistaken. But a kid that you look at him, you say, hey, how is this guy not on the first team already? But there's more than just his talent, right? There's more than that, right? There's international spots that Austin FC has to spend on Valentin Noel. And unfortunately, I think right now they're not willing to take that chance on Valentin Noel. And maybe that's what it looks like from outside in, right? I'm not in with the people making these kind of decisions, Neff, right? So we'll talk about this starting lineup real quick for the 30 minutes. We had Cleveland, he was in goal. At defense, we had Hector Jimenez, Brandon Hines-Ike, Antonio Gomez, who's still on trial, and Guilherme Biro. He was playing at Q2 Stadium at that left back position on the extra 30 minutes. In the midfield, we had Valencia, Neff, we had Owen Wolff, and of course, Valentin Noel. In the attack, Jader Obrian, Rubio was at the 9, and CJ Fodry, who seems to be back from injury. He is at the left wing, or he was at the left wing. Now, we mentioned the goal details. We talked about Valentin Noel, bro. Neff, anything else you want to add on the bad boy, the bad number 10 from France, Mr. Valentin Noel?
The only thing is that I wish he has a wonderful season. I think he deserves to have playing time in the team. Unfortunately, Austin seems to only be having 2 competitions to worry about this year. So it seems like every minute it's going to be fought for. Is the U.S. Open Cup thing already done? They're going to be participating in it?
It's still up in the air.
And so it's MLS and Leagues Cup at the moment, correct?
Yes, but we'll see what happens with the US Open.
Okay. With that being said, man, it's already going to be scarce. They're going to have to be very fought for, and hope he has a great season. I think he has it in him to get some.
For sure, man. Now, Primo, is there anything you want to add on this match before we move forward? It was the final match of preseason, right? We see all the games, and you try to take them at face value. It is just preseason, mate. But what was your thoughts? Any final thoughts on this New York City FC match that ended 3-2 or 4-4, however you want to look at it?
I mean, nothing too crazy. Like I mentioned earlier, just a good way to finish off preseason. I'm ready for these official games to start. And as far as the lineup, I think that is going to be our lineup. Maybe Rubio sneaks in instead of Zardes.
I'm not opposed.
I wouldn't be mad at that, but that would probably be the only difference I see on opening day. So, but yeah, other than that, decent preseason, I think.
Okay, now, gentlemen, I have some questions here for you guys, pretty much on the ending of preseason. And I want to ask you the first one, who impressed you the most in preseason? Neff, if you want to give me your name first, what player stood out to you the most the 7 games that Austin FC had before the opening night that's happening next week?
Like mentioned before, I think the one that surprised me the most, just based on numbers, right? Because we couldn't see most of that action, is Noel.
True.
With that being said, also like I mentioned before, I would give Rubio his flowers. I mean, coming in and scoring 3 goals in short notice the way he did, I think that's great, and hopefully he's able to replicate that during the season.
Okay, so Neff says Valentin Noel. Primo, can I get your name for the player that impressed you the most in preseason?
That impressed me the most, I'm gonna say Jader. I was gonna say Diego, but I just didn't really know too much about Jader when he first came in. Diego Rubio has been, his name's always, recognized throughout the league. So, but Jader, did surprise me coming in from Dallas and continuing his work here in Austin.
Okay, all right, good takes. I'm gonna give you my name. Well, I actually wrote down 3 in case you guys took either one of them that I said, right? So I put down Jader Obrian, I put down Jimmy Farcarlon, El Bryant, and then I put Diego Rubio. Jimmy, of course, he stole the hearts of the entire fan base this preseason. I mean, he came in like a rocket. He came in like a wrecking ball. Shout out to Miley Cyrus, right? But Jader Obrian, Primo, you mentioned him. He came in, and although the signing was maybe a little bit criticized when we got him from the re-entry draft, they were saying, this guy, he was maybe the best you could get from that re-entry draft anyways, right? So he fit the budget. But what he's been producing, I like. What Diego Rubio has been producing, I like. What Jimmy Farcarlon has been producing, I like. Now, Neff, I know it is preseason, bro, but so far what these guys have shown me in those games, now, from what we've seen, they're just goals that we have analyzed really, and the LA Galaxy match that we got to see 100%. But those 3 names I'm going to have to choose. I'm going to have to ride with for who impressed me the most. Now, the other question I have, gentlemen, is what 3 things did we learn this preseason? Now, I'll get the ball rolling, right? These are my things that I wrote down. Number 1, defense is still a liability, a lot to work on. I know Wolff has been saying that they're putting an emphasis on the defense. I want to see more of it. I don't think the work is finished there yet. Number 2, Rubio and Jader are game changers for Austin FC. That's my second take. And number 3, and this might be a harsh take, maybe a poo-poo take, but we're going to see Danny versus Owen like we've never seen it before for who's going to get that position. And I think Valencia is going to get treated like the stepchild, and he's just going to be forgotten. I don't think he's going to get a chance. As much as I want to see Valencia get a chance, I think it's going to be Drusi, Alex Ring, and whoever wins that battle between Danny Pereira and Owen Wolff. Neff, what you think? What are your 3 things?
Well, I can sum up the 3 things I learned in only really one, which is being it's more of the same. I don't think we saw many new things other than new faces. And with that being said, the same system, same coach, basically same players. I don't see much for the team to have any substantial change or much change, if at all. So, yeah, I think there is some new things. I don't think that they're necessarily upgrades, but I mean, I'm hoping to see a better result than last season.
Okay. Now, Neff, while we get Primo's take, if you could do me a favor and turn off your camera and turn it back on, just real quick, please. Now, Primo, your 3 things that you learned this preseason.
3 things. I'll probably say, one probably being, that these Fcito guys that came up are most likely not gonna probably be in the first team. Even though they had a pretty good preseason, I don't really see any of them making it into this first team. At least this season, maybe in the future. All of them definitely have bright futures, but I'm not seeing it this year. Another thing I'll probably say, let Rolo cook, man. Let Rolo cook. He's cooking. He did his thing this off season. Got us what we were able to get, and based on the situation that we are. But and then the third thing, the guys that he did bring in, they're here to work, man. They're here to do their thing. They're here to hopefully improve this team, and hopefully, they all want to show up, man. They all want to come here. They all want to grow as a professional. And I'm glad that it's happening here because, we kind of need it.
All right, my G. Thank you, Neff and Primo, for sharing y'all's 3 things that you learned in the preseason. Now, I want to move forward to what the MLS experts and pundits had to say about Austin FC's spot in 2024. Now, I know this is a hot topic, and everybody's been talking about it today. We're recording this podcast Sunday, February 18th. So let's get into it because we had a heated exchange earlier today talking about this. Now, for the people listening, for the listeners out there, I want you to let us know either on Twitter or in the comments of this podcast who you agree with, where you sit at, who are you riding with if it's shotgun that you have to take in each one of our cars into a destination of predictions, right? But let's see. Let me pull it up here on my screen so we have it ready. The predictions from the MLS experts. Now, in the Western Conference Finals, they have number 1, Seattle, 2, LAFC, 3, SKC, number 4, FC Dallas, number 5, St. Louis, number 6, Houston Dynamo, 7, LA Galaxy, 8, Real Salt Lake, 9, Vancouver, 10, Portland, 11, the Colorado Rapids, 12, Minnesota United, 13, San Jose, and finally, dead last, wooden spoon contenders. The MLS experts have Austin FC at 14th spot. Now, Austin FC fans were not happy about this, to say the least. They were pretty upset. A lot of people don't think that this is where Austin FC is going to end up, and I'll read some comments here in a bit. The MLS expert said the strength that Austin FC has is that Sebastian Drusi and Diego Rubio should fit well together. Brad Stuver remains the most underrated goalkeeper in the league, and they don't think it's wrong to expect significant improvement from Danny Pereira and Owen Wolff, and that's the team spine right there. Excuse me. Excuse me. The pundits are probably thinking about me right now. Now, the experts, the pundits, they say their weakness is pretty much everything else. Now, key departures, they have Nick Lima, Ronnie Redes, and Maxi Urruti. Maybe Nick Lima is probably the hardest one to deal with from those departures. I can deal with Maxi leaving and also Ronnie Redes, like Primo mentioned earlier. And then the key signings, the key additions, they mentioned Guilherme Biro, Jader Obreon, and Diego Rubio. 3 names that both of you guys and I have talked about multiple times on this podcast that we're excited about their contributions that are going to come here in 2024. And the predictions, last but not least, before I get Neff's take on this, Marcelo Balboa, 13th in Western Conference. Kendra de St. Aubin, 14th in the Western Conference. Matt Doyle, Mr. Matt Doyle, oh, you little rascal, 14th in the Western Conference. Brian Dunseth, 13th. Miguel Gallardo, 14th. Antonella Gonzalez, 12th. Jason Jones, 14th. Sacha Kleshton, 13th. Kaylin Kyle, 14th. Lori Lindsay, 14th. Frederick Lord, 11th. Not too bad. Joseph Lowry, 14th. Sammy Sadovnik, 10th. Shout out, Sammy. Andrew Weeb, 14th. Diego Valeri, 11th. And Jake Zivin, 13th in the Western Conference. Now, Neff, most of the comments on Instagram and on Twitter have been, yo, don't listen to them. It's time to prove them wrong. But then you also see comments like this one that I'm about to read. This is from Bright Verde. Shout out to Marcelo Parodi. He used to work with us at Top Flight in the first season or so. He says, seeing how other teams in the West have been improving their squads and comparing that to our progress, I don't see how it's far-fetched to believe Austin will be one of the worst teams next season. So, Neff, I'm going to start off with you on this topic. Do the pundits have a point here?
The pundits have a point to a certain degree, because I do not think, and like many people have pointed out, these guys do not watch Austin FC season long. So they don't
For sure.
particularly have a great idea of why this team went wrong in the first place. With that being said, a lot of what in the reports of strengths and weaknesses are all very general things. It's not as easy as saying the defense is bad and the attack is good. It's not as simple as that. It's a lot of analysis, tactical and otherwise that goes into it. That being said, I don't think they're the most qualified people for these type of assessments.
They're the experts.
In that sense,
They're the experts.
I'll let anybody who wants to agree with that. I don't particularly agree with that. With that being said, it is a very general idea, which I do agree with, that Austin FC has not done enough to generate or to see too much change.
So you agree with the experts?
That being said, last year, I agree with a 14th place or 10th and below place. But just in this particular topic, yes. With that being said, Austin finished 12th last season, and I don't know where you guys are gonna put Austin FC, but 12th is closer to 14 than perhaps where you guys are gonna put Austin FC at. So I don't think it's far-fetched.
Okay, now I want to get Primo's opinion on this because the 3 of us here had a heated exchange earlier, and F clearly agrees with the pundits, the MLS experts, even though he just said that they're not qualified, but it is what it is. Neff does have some points that we were talking about it earlier. Now, Primo, come into this conversation, mate. Do the pundits have a point here, or are you with Austin FC fans, or the majority of the Austin FC fans that say, yo, there's no way we finished 14th? I mean, wooden spoon? I mean, there's some improvements on this team that you can see black and white. You got to dig deeper. You got to take, things that have to happen. You can't take the preseason to what 100% to say, oh, because of this is going to happen. Because we're scoring goals, they're going to score goals here. I believe that's what Neff was saying earlier, right? But I mean, there's been improvements in this team that make you think we could probably scrape playoffs, right? Or I mean, where are you at, Primo, on this case?
Yeah, it was a big topic today. It is what it is at the end of the day. Whatever these pundits put Austin FC, it's gonna be put out there. It's gonna be in the media. It's gonna be in social. So people are gonna take it how they take it. 14th, come on, man. That's when I saw that was like a big middle finger to my face. And I'll tell you why. It was like a slap in the face. And I'll tell you why. In my opinion, I think we had a better offseason, not only, on the field, but on the people we're signing, on the moves we were making. I think, in my opinion, we did a lot better than expected. And so with that, we brought in Diego Rubio, which is, in my opinion, a good striker, bro. He's a good striker. I don't see why people downplay him so much. But is it enough to make us champions? No, it's not. But I think
What
it's
about
enough
playoffs?
to put us. It's enough to put us in that playoff, and then come the summer, that's when everyone's expecting these big moves. Big, hopefully bigger names. I'm gonna make a little Dragon Ball Z reference here. I think we're gonna be scraping by around the summertime. Summertime, we're gonna take that senzu bean, and we're just gonna come back to life. So I'm gonna put us 6. I'm gonna stick with 6 this whole time. I don't care, bro. I don't care. I'm gonna stick with 6. I'm gonna stick with 6. And I look at the list of all the teams that are put above us between here and 6. We can beat those teams. We can beat all those teams.
Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna have Austin FC at the highest in 8th or 9th, but my G Primo tonight on the Top Flight Pod, he says that he has Austin FC finishing at 6. And you know what, Primo, you do make a good point. Some of the teams that are up there, we can beat, bro, 100%. But the main question is, like, can we sustain it? Can we keep it going until October, until November? I mean, last season it was over by October, maybe September, depending on how you looked at it, right? But I believe there was still hope until there was none at all. But Neff, he might tell you something different. But, Neff, you hear Primo say that we've made some improvements, not enough to make us champions, but enough to secure a 6th place spot, maybe 7th, maybe 8th. And he's not coming off of that hill. So I want to ask you, I mean, number one, do you think that the improvements that Austin has made are enough to make a playoff spot or a playoff, possible run for the playoffs? Some pundits have Austin FC finishing up just short, missing out on in 10th, 11th, right? And, I want to ask you also, where do you have them finishing up at, if you can put like a final number on it? So the improvements, are they enough? And where do you have them finishing up at?
I want to say that, and I mean no disrespect to Primo, but he's basing this on his feelings, on how he feels. Because I don't think that I think he's given preseason and what it is a whole different meaning than what it actually is. Preseason has nothing to do, like, it's not about results. It's not about results. It's about being physically ready for the season, getting you physically up for it. That's what it's for. It's not about whatever Primo just tried to ramble on about, right? Now, with that being said, I put Austin FC at 12th or 11th. Pick one of those, I'm going to put 12th. I don't think that they're going to be any better. Now, it's ridiculous to put championship next to Austin FC anywhere near. Like, I don't understand how you can even reference Austin FC near that right now. Now, if I'm wrong later on, which, again, I'll repeat it, I hope I am, then you can put it there. But this team at the moment, resources, nothing to do with it.
Now, Neff, I do want to bring up just a couple points before we move on to some European results. Is the fact that, and this is something Primo and I agreed on earlier, the direct improvements that have been made are pretty good. Rodney Redes for Jader Obrian, that's an improvement. Maxi Urruti out, Diego Rubio in, that's an improvement. You have guys like Guilherme Biro coming in to reinforce that back line, improvement. Brendan Hines-Ike, although he's not a hot shot center back, he's not somebody that's making people look twice, but he could be a good key role player, a good role player that comes in. He already knows what the culture is about. He knows that the fan base expects a lot from him. So he already has that since day one. I mean, wouldn't you agree that those are marginal improvements that Austin FC could use to probably make a good run for that 9th, 8th place spot? Am I wrong to think that Rodney Redes was replaced by a positive?
Yes, and I am gonna tell you why. Because all those players that you just named, one of them already told you that he's not fit for the system, that he does not understand the system yet. With that being said, you have a whole team that doesn't already fully understand the system. You want these 4 players to come in and solve what last season was? It's not going to happen out of thin air. This system takes years, and it takes very specific type of players to function. Austin FC does not have that at the moment. And like I told you
In
in
the
the last
summer.
episode, Austin
In the
FC,
summer, it's
even in the summer, look what happened when they won a
Dessler's
game in
coming
the
in.
summer.
Dessler's coming in this summer.
Okay, that's fine. He's not going to be able to do it because his team does not play that system entirely. So he's going to have to adapt, and he's going to have to adapt not only to a new country and a new league, he's now going to have to adapt to Wolff as well.
True.
So don't take all of those factors lightly. All of that factors in to a whole lot to make a team. All of those things could end up probably taking you worse to where you finished last season.
Okay, now, Neff, real quick, I want to give Primo a chance to clap back at your response to what he's had to say before we go on to the next topic. Primo, anything that you want to mention on the topic? You know, Neff is not backing down either. He's saying a 12th, maybe 11th, but he's betting on that 12th. Primo, you're saying 6th place. I'm saying anywhere from 9th to 8th. Be lucky if we end up in 7th. 10th is a possibility as well, but I see us making the big party, the playoffs. Anything else you want to say on this topic, Primo?
Yeah, I agree with you. I see us making the big party this season and you know, getting that playoff game at Q2 again. Neff, I know what preseason is, buddy. I know what it is, and what I saw from preseason is I saw goals, I saw assists, I saw no one got injured, and I think that's what you want from preseason. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's the first step, bro. When you bring in these new guys, that's exactly what you want to see in preseason. So it's not about the results or anything like that. You know, these guys are ready, bro. These guys are coming in with confidence. And, you know, this might be a hot take or whatever, but I think we have a better team this year than we had starting last season. And that should tell you a lot.
Can you agree that it doesn't take much to have a better team than you had last season?
But there's improvements made.
It doesn't take much, but it's improvement, bro. It's not we're not doing a lateral move,
like I
we're
said,
not moving backwards.
Listen, if you go from 1 to 2, that's an improvement. But you don't want to go from 1 to 2. You want to go from 1 to 4.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, everyone does, but in the situations that we are and you know, and everything that we're going through, unfortunately, we can't make those moves right now. We got to wait a little bit longer. So we're doing what we can, and I think Rodo did a fantastic job.
Okay, with that being said, you're doing what you can. Doesn't sound like a 6th place team.
No, it doesn't right now. It doesn't right now. You know, it's a long season.
So
and
no.
You know, you can almost cut the MLS season in 2, almost. You know, first, and then after the summer, you know, it's go time. So. That's when I see it coming. If I may,
referee, ding, 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 right? Ding, 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 ding. Fighters, go to your corners. In Primo's defense, Austin FC, Rodolfo Burrow, Josh Wolff, they can make positive reinforcements in the summer to help what the team is struggling in that first half of the season. Like Primo said, you can almost cut the season right down the middle, right? If Austin FC survives that first half, brings in positive reinforcements for that second half of the season, Neff, is there a chance, bro? Yeah, last thing. Is there a chance if in the summer there's positive reinforcements?
Is there a chance? There's always a chance, Atlanta. But like I said, it's not in your odds.
Oh, well, you know what, bro? Take me to Vegas. I'm lucky, and I'll tell you why. Before we go on to Europe, when we went to the kit unveiling, we met up at the studio. It was me, football critic Brian, and Danny Benz. We went to the downtown part where the building was at, the Dillo kit and whatnot. When we parked, couldn't find my phone, so it took me like another 2-3 minutes to get out of the truck and go on. But as we were walking down the garage road or whatnot, we were getting down to the first level because we were on the second. We crossed paths with Rodo. Rodo was doing the same thing we were doing. He was parking, and we were parking also, and he was having he just asked us for just a little bit of help on the parking situation, and we helped him, you know, complete the payment and whatnot. And it was pretty cool. We got to meet Rodo. He's a human, just like everybody else, and he doesn't like the parking situation in the garages downtown. So maybe City of Austin can do something about that. But really, really funny little anecdote. And we had a conversation. We walked with Rodo to the actual kit unveiling party, but the conversation we had, unfortunately, cannot be shared on the Top Flight pod. But gentlemen, we're gonna move forward to a bit of European results now. If you don't mind, guys, I know we're all Real Madrid fans here, but let's start in the EPL. We had results come in yesterday. Brentford lost to Liverpool 4-1. Liverpool is in front of the EPL. They lead. They lead the league in first place. Arsenal, another thumping win, 11 goals in 2 games. They beat Burnley 5-0. They're cooking. Bournemouth and Newcastle 2-2. Aston Villa and Fulham 2-1. Forest beats West Ham 2-0. West Ham got a red card. Tottenham loses out to Wolves 2-1. Man City and Chelsea 1-1. I know B was absolutely going crazy when Sterling got that goal. But City, they tied up 1-1 because they're freaking City. And then today we had Sheffield United lose out to Brighton. They lost 5-0 with the red card themselves. The game that I paid a lot of attention to, I watched this game actually. I was watching it kind of play-by-play with Eric and everybody that's on Discord. Shout out to Tucker. He was keeping up with it as well. Luton Town, they lost to Man United 2-1, but Luton hit the crossbar, the top of it, right in the last play. They had a corner kick and Ross Barkley just puts it at the top of the crossbar. It was so close. And then Everton, they play Crystal Palace tomorrow, so make sure to keep an eye out on that. Now, Nev, any results that come out at you, any results that pop out from the Premier League that come out to pop out at you?
The Man City Chelsea game I thought was pretty nice. It was nice seeing Chelsea always play a fairly beautiful game, so it was very nice to see them against what Chelsea is. So,
mate,
very very good game.
Mate, Man City had 31 shots. Oh my God.
Incredible.
31 shots, well, only 5 of those were on target.
Crazy. Yeah, it's insane. But Haaland had a difficult game. Apparently there was some off the field stuff. So it's unfortunate, but man, City can still have a game.
Okay, now Primo, your Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur, they lose out to Wolves. Now, Tottenham, they find themselves in 5th place, bro. They dropped out of that top 4 contention just right now. There's still more games to go. But I know Neff doesn't have a horse in this league. But, Primo, your horse or your chicken is Tottenham Hotspur, Spurs. What's your take on Ange and his boys? Top 5, no Harry Kane. I mean, how is Tottenham doing right now, bro?
Man. It was going into this game, I already kind of, I had a feeling. And so it's kind of starting to get like that towards towards the end of the season. We're obviously not performing as we were at the beginning. In the beginning we're looking bright. Things were good in the beginning, but it's starting to shatter a little bit. We're still in the European spot, so hopefully we can sneak into top 4. Yeah, man. We got a few more games left. I know there's definitely some big ones coming up, but it's just really hard to tell right now, especially with Tottenham, bro.
Yeah, roller coaster club, mate. Now, relegation battle, we have Everton in 18th, Burnley in 19th, and Sheffield United, they find themselves in 20th. Now, the points-wise, Everton has 19, so they're not too bad. Burnley has 13, and Sheffield has 13, so 6-point difference there between 18th and 19th. Now, Everton, are they going to go down this year, bro? Is it going to be the year that Everton goes down? I feel like they've been flirting with that, that battle just way too much to be comfortable. But hey, it is what it is. Shout out to the Evertonian fans out there. I can't believe there's any Everton fans out there outside of Everton. But if you're out there, I'm with you. Now, moving forward to the Bundesliga, because we have some fans in the Discord that really follow this league a lot, especially our Bayern fans. And it's tough being a Bayern fan right now. I mean, you just to think that you've experienced years, almost pretty much a decade of success in the Bundesliga, and then you get Harry Kane, and out of nowhere, your team just crumbles, man. I mean, 8 points behind first place Leverkusen, led by Xabi Alonso. Neff, I'm going to start off with you because I know Xabi's your guy, but I mean, what is going on in the Bundesliga, bro? I mean, Bayern Munich, 50 points, Leverkusen, 58. Xabi Alonso is doing a job in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's incredible what Xabi has been able to do with Leverkusen. I mean, let's not forget when Xabi took the helm at Leverkusen were 17th place. And he was able to get them into Europa League spot last season, and it's performing fairly well for them now. He's topping the league by 8 points. I mean, that's incredible. And at the same time, it's unfortunate. I mean, Bayern have a squad. They have such talented players. One of them being one of my favorites to watch nowadays, Musiala. Musiala's one of the latest and greatest dribblers
Wasn't
that we have in the
wasn't
world.
there
So.
links? Wasn't there links between Musiala and Real Madrid after the World Cup?
There was even before then. Like there's been links for a couple of years. But ultimately it was more of a Jude or Musiala and
Oh, okay.
Jude
The right
Jude
decision was
won.
made. Okay.
I mean, certainly a great decision. I think I wouldn't discard Musiala ever coming to Madrid. I mean, a lot of things can happen. A lot of players transfer all the time, so I mean, hopefully it would be.
It would be nice to see that happen. Now, like I mentioned, Leverkusen is running away with it. They lead Bayern Munich, which is second place with by 8 points. So we'll see what happens at the end of the Bundesliga. But I think everybody knows, but they don't want to realize it. What's going to happen now? Just real quick, Serie A. Inter Miami, Inter Milan. They're running away with that league. They won today. I'm sorry, they didn't. They not won today, but their last match looks like they won it on the 16th of February, 4-0 against Salernitana. I'm sure that was a tough team to beat. 4-0. Come on, get out of here. Wait, that's where Ochoa plays, bro. That's where Ochoa plays. Yeah, I think there was a first half hat trick by Lautaro Martinez, and some people were trolling Guillermo Ochoa. Damn, my G Ochoa, bro. But just some other results that were interesting to me that popped out. AC Milan, they lost to Monza 4-2. Milan had a red card of their own to deal with. Now some standings in Serie A: Inter in first, La Juve in second place, AC Milan in third with 52 points. I want to see them stay in that top four. I love to see AC Milan in the Champions League. It's just something beautiful about it. And then Atalanta in fourth place, they got 45. And Bologna, not too far off in fifth with 45 as well. And La Roma, no Jose Mourinho, and they got 41 points. But it is what it is. Now, gentlemen, moving forward to the league that we all love here, which is La Liga. Shout out to them. I love that league. Now, match day 25 of 38, Nef, we had Villarreal tie against Getafe 1-1. Atleti de Madrid, they beat Las Palmas 5-0. Osasuna beat Cadiz 2-0. Celta de Vigo lost to Barcelona 2-1. Valencia and Sevilla, they tie without goals 0-0. Real Madrid with a red card, a late red card. We'll talk about that game right now. They tie 1-1 against my G Jordan's Rayo Vallecano. Eric predicted this match was going to be a draw. He got it right. And I told Jordan, Rayo Vallecano always gives us an interesting match. We didn't beat them this season, actually, to point that out. Granada, Almeria 1-1. Mallorca loses to Real Sociedad 2-1. Real Betis and Alaves tie 0-0. And Athletic Club play Football Critics Girona tomorrow at 2. That's on Monday. Make sure to check that out. Now, getting into the Real Madrid versus Rayo Vallecano match, Nef, Raúl de Tomás, Real Madrid's ex-Cantera player, a guy that I wish stayed, but, it's so hard to be consistent in a club like Real Madrid and really even get a chance to play for them. But Raúl de Tomás, from the penalty spot, he makes no mistake. He scored against Real Madrid so many times, too. It kind of pisses me off. But Madrid, they get one back themselves. And then I mentioned Dani Carvajal gets a red card late in the match for really just losing his head for no reason. Dani Carvajal shouldn't be doing that at his age, bro. Grow up. But Nev, your thoughts on that match 1-1, and then we'll get Primo's thoughts.
I know. I think today was one of those typical games we play right after a Champions League match. I don't know what it is that it has become a pattern. It's unfortunate. Carlos seemed to have gotten everything wrong today, not necessarily with the starting lineup, but definitely with the changes. I don't think Modric should have gone as far as he did in the game. He was very noticeably sluggish throughout the game, and which is not to tarnish his legacy at all. I mean, he's a legend of the club. He will always be a legend of the club. But these type of games, he had to come out a lot earlier. Brahim, I don't understand why he was brought out early as well. So Rodrigo, I mean, I don't even know what to say on that. Vinny as well. It's like they were somewhere in another game. They were mentally not there. With that being said, though, it is a little setback. We'll see what the result is tomorrow, and just got to prepare for Sunday against Sevilla at the Bernabeu.
Yes, that's going to be a really interesting game. It's going to be nice to see Sergio Ramos and Sevilla go into the Bernabeu and see him in that locker room. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pictures. The last time Real Madrid played Sevilla, we saw the famous picture where Ramos goes up and grabs, Rudiger from the cheeks when he was wearing the mask. And he pulls it out like, what Ramos thinking? But Primo, your thoughts on the 1-1 between Real Madrid and Rayo Vallecano? Joselu gets the goal. Modric, Brahim Diaz, Camavinga, they were subbed out along with Lucas Vasquez. The subs that were used was Dani Carvajal, bro, got a red card being subbed on. Tony Cruz, Rodrigo, like Neff mentioned, and we see Arda Güler starting to get more and more PT. But Primo, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, just how Nev mentioned, a little bit of a setback, definitely, a little bit of a blow, based off of how close things are up top right now. But yeah, Rayo Vallecano, playing at home. I love their stadium. First of all, I think their stadium, they have a good crowd out there. But yeah, I think everyone's kind of just having a little bit of an off day, a little bit of a chill day, I guess. But it just wasn't there for Madrid. Could have definitely played a lot better. We've seen them play better this season. So it was just one of those games. You have those games every now and then throughout the season. The whole Dani Carvajal thing is definitely a huge blow. We got Sevilla next.
Yeah.
We're at the point
Rudiger
where we
comes back though.
Yeah, Rudiger comes back. That will help us. But we're getting to the point of La Liga where Madrid has to be consistent. We have to be getting as many points as we can right now, because it's getting to crunch time. So especially with the team right on your tail. So I see them bouncing back from this. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a hard blow to the players. There's a Champions League game coming up. So the only thing right now that Dani Carvajal red card, bro. I think that
for sure
messes up a little bit.
For sure, bro. Two stains on the record. Number one, the draw, and the red card from Dani Carvajal. But okay, some numbers, some positions in La Liga. Real Madrid leads first place with 62 points. Girona, they play tomorrow. They have 56 points. They can go up to 59, just 3 points away from Real Madrid if they get those 3 points. Barcelona with 54 points. Atleti in top 4. They're in 4th place with 51 points. And then right behind them, Athletic Club, 5th place with 46. And La Real Sociedad in 6th place with 40 points. Now, gentlemen, our pilot must hate us, and we really do got to take care more of the planet Earth, because we went from the United States to Europe, and now we're coming back to Mexico, and we're landing to talk Liga MX real quick, guys, before we end the pod. Now, match day 7 of 17, Querétaro tied 1-1 against Necaxa. Mazatlan and my Chivas de Guadalajara, they tied 2-2, a very annoying result. San Luis, Primo's team, and David Rodriguez's side, they tied 3-3 with Xolos, Club Tijuana. Juarez and Puebla match was postponed. Pachuca, Football Critics Pachuca, they beat America 2-1, massive result for Pachuca. Cruz Azul and Tigres. Cruz Azul beat Tigres 1-0. Wow. Both teams saw a red card. And then León beat Atlas 1-0 today. Pumas, unfortunately, defeated Santos Laguna. Nefs Santos Laguna. I'm sorry, brother. And then Monterrey and Toluca are currently in halftime. 0-0 is the result. But real quick, my unpacked thoughts on the Chivas match. They were up 2-0. El Pocho Guzman had a brace. We were up 2-0. And then there was really no moment though when we felt like Chivas was in control. Shout out to Sama, shout out to Benelo Mexican, shout out to Carlos and Rahul, everybody that was on Discord keeping up with this match. I mean, Mazatlan was on our butt, dude. They were just right behind us, on our heels, just pressuring and putting us in an uncomfortable position. And even though Mazatlan has a lot of injuries that they're dealing with, they still managed to come back. And Luis Amarilla with a goal, like I believe it was 90 plus 10. He makes it 2-2. Chivas apparently with a red card. I was not happy when I woke up and I saw the result, because I was watching it up until like the 85th, 86th, 87th, and I kept dozing off. And then when I woke up and the next morning, I checked the match result, and I see 2-2. I was pissed. But Nev, talk to me about this 3-0 Pumas Santos Laguna result.
Well, it's yet another unfortunate result for my teams this weekend. But look, I'll be honest. Santos is in a way deep tunnel of rebuild. Fortunately, we just got a new manager, Nacho Ambriz, who a lot of you might have already heard about, and it's his first game. This team just needs a whole almost a new rebrand on what it is. The situation there with the club, it's not there at all. It's unfortunate how even the people have disconnected from the club itself. So it's very and again, it's unfortunate. I hope to see the team get better results in the coming weeks, but it's just looking
It's
increasingly
gloomy.
unlikely.
It's
Yeah, no,
gloomy.
it's very gloomy.
Now, hey, bro, before we go to Primo's take on San Luis, I can't help but think of this tune when I talk about Liga MX. It's just, batiri, batiri, ba, batiri, batiri, ba, pelotero la bola, batiri, ba. I don't know why, dude. I'm sorry. It keeps playing in my head. When I was painting the room earlier, I was listening to that song and painting it up. But Primo, San Luis, they're in 12th place, bro. They're barely making playoffs, the expanded format of playoffs, bro. I mean, what is the deal with San Luis right now, bro? Chivas is at least in 7th, but San Luis looks like they're in terrible form, bro. They tied their last match, but they lost the previous 4. What the heck?
Yeah, I mean it's a little shaky right now. I'm not too worried. It's still a little
That's
early.
earthquake shaky, bro. That's earthquake shaky.
A little shaky. You get to the point where you got to hold on to something, but Tijuana getting the late equalizer, a little unfortunate.
True.
That sucked. I'm like, come on, bro. But I think they're gonna pull through at the end. We're probably gonna sneak in somehow. I think we had a good run last year. So I don't know, man. It kind of sucked. I really wanted to beat at least Tijuana because we are coming off of some L's, but hey, this league is crazy, man. Anything can happen in this league. I recommend anyone that doesn't watch Liga MX to please, just pick a team, man. Just pick a team if you want. There's a lot of good talent out there. If you want, for the MLS people, my boy Cape Cow's in Chivas, go support Chivas. It's Chicharito, But hey, no, Liga MX is a lot of fun. So definitely recommend watching it. But it just wasn't our date. When was yesterday? So.
Bro, Liga MX has the best out of context moments, bro. They have the funniest halftime shows. The pundits are hilarious. The out of context moments are super funny. This is one of my favorite leagues, bro. Ever since I was a kid. I mean, I hope I never stop watching Liga MX. And even though the MLS has taken a big chunk of my time, dude, it just feels naturally right to keep up with Chivas and Liga MX. Like it's just something about it that takes me back to when I was a kid, bro, and had no worries whatsoever. Just Liga MX just holds a part of me that will forever be that little kid that supported Chivas. You know what I'm saying? And to right now at my 28 years of age, I still support Chivas. There's just something about Liga MX, bro. It's just awesome. Now, moving forward, guys, some future results that are coming up. Chivas plays Pumas next. San Luis, looks like you guys have Leon next, or that's match day 8, but actually before, so they're playing match day 9 before 8. And Chivas plays Necaxa on Tuesday, February 20th. Santos plays Toluca February 21st. And then San Luis, you guys play Leon February 24th. So those are the next matches coming up. Standings, like I said, Cruz Azul is in first with 16, which is really weird. Pumas is in 15th. Monterrey is in 15th, third place. Pachuca, Football Critic, 4th place with 15. Brian's America is in 5th with 14. Tigres, 6th place with 14. Chivas, 12. Necaxa, 11 points. They're in 8th. Toluca, they just got knocked out of CCC, which is weird. They got 10 points. Atlas, 8 points. Leon, 7th. And Primo's San Luis making playoffs right now with 7 points. But, gentlemen, we have reached the end of the pod. Once again, thank you so much for being here, guys. This is the last episode before the big game, Minnesota. Now, I mean, is there any predictions that we'd like to put out there before we close out the pod?
Prediction, bro. We haven't had one of these in a minute, bro.
The prediction for the home opener. What do we got?
Home opener.
Before you answer, we didn't really talk much about the preview for Minnesota because I want to have a space midweek, right? That's if the fans out there are listening. But Primo, prediction for Minnesota, the result that Austin FC could have that game.
3-1.
Oof, I like it. I freaking like it, bro.
3-1.
Put that on a plate and serve it up with gravy, bro. I like it. Give me a Dr. Pepper, bro. Neff. prediction, bro.
Dr. Pepper, bro? Gross.
What? I just had one today. I'm drinking water
gross.
now.
Disgusting. But I don't have a positive result for Austin. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say a draw.
Doesn't sit right with me. Doesn't sit right with me, but it's a point. I'll take it.
That Dr. Pepper doesn't either.
Whoa. Okay, buddy. Low blow there. But okay, my prediction, Primo said 3-1. I'm going to soften it up a little bit. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 or a clean sheet 2-0. 2-0, just to keep it there. Now, we'll have a Twitter space midweek, probably on Thursday or something like that, to talk about the Minnesota, talk about everything that happened in preseason, and really hear from the fans to see what's been happening in y'all's world. But like I said, thank you for being here, Nev, Primo. Shout out to everybody that listened. Hopefully you have a good day, good morning, good rest of your day, good night. We'll be back with more. So have a good night, everybody, and be safe. Later, y'all.